श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। In our previous class, we had seen how respectable Adi Shankaracharya Swami explains the Anuvaka, and in the end he has said Saha Brahmana Vipaschita iti. So the word iti that indicates the end of the mantra there, and now he continues with the Bhashya. Sarvaeva Valyartho Brahmavidapnoti Paramiti Brahmana Vakyena Sutritaha. He says that the essence of the entire Valli is briefly stated as a sutra in this mantra. Sarvaha eva Valyarthaha Brahmavidapnoti Param. So is actually Shankaracharya is so much influenced and actually impressed by this particular sentence that he always puts emphasis on this Brahmavidapnoti Param. Brahmavidapnoti Param. Actually, he is so excited, he is so happy, glad that a sentence is there which can be taken as containing the essence of the entire section. One sentence, but it can carry the essence of the entire section, Valli. What is that? That is Brahmavit Apnoti Param. Whoever realizes Brahman will get that Brahman. Sacha Sutrito Arthaha Sankshepato Mantrena Vyakhyataha. So whatever is briefly stated by that particular sentence is elaborated by the entire Anuvaka. So therefore, it is only a kind of elaboration. That's what Shankaracharya opines. Punastasyeva vistarena arthanirnayah kartavyaha. So now the meaning of that particular should be properly ascertained. So that nirdharana, that means one should ascertain the true nature of that artha. So, and that should be in elaborative mode. Iti uttarastad vrittisthaniyo grantha arabhyate. So, whatever is given in the Anuvaka after that particular Brahmavidapnoti Param, it is nothing but an elaboration of the simple sentence which is aphoristic in manner, Brahmavidapnoti Param. So, it is sutra, and everything else in the Anuvaka is only a kind of elaboration. And the elaboration begins with the word Tasmad va etasmad Atmanah Akasha Sambhutaha. So Brahmavit Apnoti Param, when you say Brahmavit, knower of the Brahman, and Brahman, how should it be realized? So a process is given. See, from this Atma, Akasha Sambhutaha, the Akasha is manifested, and from Akasha, Agni, Vayu, Agni, Jala, Vayu, Prithvi. So this is the sequence given in the Anuvaka. And Tatracha, Satyam Jnanamanantam Brahma Ityuktam Mantrado. So in the beginning of the mantra, while defining Brahma, it is stated Satyam Jnanamanantam is Brahma. Katham Jnanam Anantam Cha. So how can be the Brahman Satyam Jnanam Anantam Ityata Aha. So in reply to that, the Anuvaka words have been taken by Adi Shankaracharya and explained now. Tatra Trividham hi Anantyam. So being all pervading, being endless is in three ways. Deshataha, Kalataha, Vastutascha iti. So being endless means in space, in time, and substantially also. That means generally whenever something is perceived as having end, so generally it has end with reference to time, it has end with reference to space and substance also. It's actually three kinds of Ananta. Anta is three kinds, therefore Ananta is also of three kinds. So Antavatvam is of three kinds: spatial, temporal and substantial. And here he says tadyatha deshatah anantaha. So something is endless only with reference to space. What is that? Akashaha. So atmanah akasha sambhutaha, and that akasha has anantatva but as space. Nahi deshatastasya parichedo asti, because you cannot delimit akasha anywhere. You cannot limit that. Natu kalatascha anantyam vastutascha akashasya. Similarly, this akasha cannot have any temporal ending or substantial ending also. Kasmat karyatvat. Why? Because it is a product. So whatever is a product, that has an end. See, generally we observe in the world also, it's a matter of general observation that whatever is produced, whatever is a product, that has end with reference to time and space. For example, a pot is created and that pot gets destroyed after some time. So naturally its anantatva is limited. So all the products have such kind of limitation. Naivam brahmanaha akashavat kalatopi antavatvam akaryatvat. But you cannot give the same example to Brahman, because Brahman does not have any end. Unlike the Akasha, you cannot compare with Akasha. Brahman is different from Akasha. How? Akasha is all pervading. Brahman is also all pervading. So what is the difference between the two? The difference is Akasha is stated in this particular mantra as a product of Atma, and Atma is Brahma. So this is the difference, that Akasha is Karya and Brahma is the Karana. So Brahma is not a Karya. So that Anantatva is not like that of the space. Karyam vastu kalena parichidyate. Generally in the Bhashya of Shankaracharya we find each sentence like some formula, like some deep statement carrying some profound sense, that each sentence can be taken and further explained and pondered over, and you can contemplate on the meaning of each sentence, and it is actually, it gets us into a contemplative state. So that kind of sentence given here, what does he say? Says karyam hi vastu kalena parichidyate. This is a physical truth. What is that? Whatever is produced has a temporal limitation. That means it is limited by time because it is produced. Produced means before its production it was not there, and after some time also it will not be there definitely, because it is born, it is produced. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu. So this also refers to the same thing, that whatever is born is bound to perish. Akaryam cha Brahma. And mind you, that the Brahman intended to be propounded in the Upanishads is definitely a non-product. It is not a product, because from this Brahman only everything is manifested. Brahman is not either a manifestation or a projection or a product of any other thing, because Brahman is everything. So therefore Brahma is neither a cause, neither an effect or manifestation. Tasmat kalato asya anantyam. Therefore Brahman is endless even with reference to time. Tadha vastutaha. In the same manner, substantially also, Brahman is endless. Katham punar vastunaha anantyam sarva ananyatvat bhinnam hi vastuantarasya anto bhavati. So generally, a particular object is stated to have an end as a substance in comparison with other, because that much limitation is there. But Brahman, it being the of the form of the entire world, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. So the limitation of each object cannot be attributed to Brahma. He says, Vastvantara Buddhirihi prasaktat vastvantara nivartate. So this is ghata. When somebody says this is pot, this is table, this is chair, so naturally this is the substantial limitation. Each one is differentiated from the other, and that is the limitation. Yato yasya buddher vinivrittihi sa tasya antaha. So this is the logical point that Adi Shankaracharya wants to highlight, that yataha yasya buddhehi vinivrittihi. So for example, if somebody says, is this snake? Other one says, no, it is rope. So automatically that particular knowledge or cognition has come to an end. That knowledge of snake has ended because it is known as rope. Similarly, ghata, pata, ashwa, gauhu, all these have limitation because the knowledge of other automatically removes it. Similarly, the entire cognition of this universe, world, the world experience ceases to exist when there is the realization of Brahma. So Brahman realization that simply washes everything off. Tad yatha gotva buddhihi ashutvad vinivartata iti ashutvantam gotvam iti antavadeva bhavati. So once you know what is gotva, then in ashwatva it is not there. In ashwatva gotva is not there. In gotva ashwatva is not there. Similarly, the other is automatically discarded. Iti sacha antaha bhinneshu vastusu drushtaha. So when there is plurality in the world, in the multiplicity of the objects, this kind of substantial limitation is understood. It is perceived. Naivam brahmano vedaha. But Brahman cannot be limited like this, because you have seen horse and you have realized that it is horse, not gau. But Brahman, being the ultimate reality, it cannot be discarded, it cannot be denied, it cannot be nullified by any other cognition. Actually, its realization removes the cognition of the world. Jagan mithya, Brahma satyam. So therefore, Brahman is the ultimate, ataha vastutopi anantatvam. So it is substantially also endless. That is the nature of Brahma. Then, katham punaha sarva ananyatvam brahmanaha. Now, tell me, sarva ananyatva. Anyatva means difference. An object like book is different from pencil, that is different from pen. So each object is different from the other, and this difference is known as anyatva. Non-difference is known as ananyatva. Now the question is, how can the Brahman be ananya? That means identical, non-different from the objects. Sarva vastu karanatvat. Shankaracharya explains, because Brahman, as the all-pervading reality, is present everywhere, it is not different from anything. It is the Brahman. Sarvesham hi vastunam kalakashadinam karanam Brahma. So whatever is understood as real, whatever is, that is known as the product of Brahman only. That means everything manifests from the Brahman, in the Brahman. So therefore, Brahman is the all-pervading reality, and it is with everything. Everything is limited, not the Brahman. That's what Bhagavad Gita says. Teshu aham na mai te. Mai te na teshu aham. That means everything is in me, dependent on me, but I am not dependent on everything. So this is the difference. And now karyapekshaya vastutaha anantavatvam iti chet na. So if somebody says, see, if Brahman is everything, when a pot is destroyed, then Brahman is also destroyed. So this way we can attribute end even to the Brahman. Na. Shankaracharya says this is untenable, wrong hypothesis. Anritatvat karyavastunaha. As such, all products are anrita. That means unreal. Unreal in the sense temporarily real. They are not absolutely negated. They have such kind of empirical reality, but they don't have the ultimate reality. So therefore they are anrita. Nahi karana vyatirekena karyam naam vastutosti yatah karana buddhir vinivarteta. So if you observe in the world also, you can easily understand that no product can have an independent existence apart from that of the cause. So all effects carry their cause along with them. So they cannot exist otherwise. For example, from clay, if some toy is made, wherever the toy goes, automatically it carries its cause, that is the clay. So the toy cannot remain without the clay. Similarly, when everything is produced from Brahman, Brahman is the material cause, and it is throughout everything. You cannot separate any product from its cause. If at all a product exists apart from the cause, then you can say that the cause can be in another place and effect can remain independently. But such is not the case. That's what Brahma Sutra says. Tad ananyatvam arambhana shabdadibhyaha. So this idea is given here. Tad ananyatvam. That means karyasya karana ananyatvam. And that arambhana shabdadi, that mantra is given Chandogya. Vacharambhanam vikaro namadheyam mrittika ityeva satyam. It's actually when many pots, toys, and other things are created from the clay is real one. And everything else is only vacharambhanam. That means only a convention. Just for the sake of word, they are there. Cloth, shirt, pant, everything. But ultimately they are only the threads. And the thread is nothing but cotton or any other. So the material cause is the reality, and everything else is only a kind of projection. So therefore, this Advaita of Shankaracharya just discards the product. It says it is of no use. You get to the original, that is the material cause of the universe, and that is the Brahman. Mritika ityeva satyam. Similarly, Brahma ityeva satyam. That is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So this way, we understand that the entire world is nothing but the product of Brahman, because the second Brahma Sutra, Janmadhyasya Yataha, says the same thing. So it is the product of the Brahman. And again, is it real? In a way, it is real. It should be real. But Shankaracharya explains that even if you understand the world to be real, ultimately you have to leave it. And you are resting in the Brahman. Realize that this is the cosmic reality, cosmic consciousness, and you, that particular bhavana, that particular feeling, awareness is very strong. But as you get into the true nature of this me, that I awareness, you don't get anything. The more you delve into the true nature of this I awareness, nothing remains there. So therefore you get a feeling, who am I? I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am not the intellect. Who am I? And finally, Shankaracharya explains, Shivah kevaloham. In that manner, when you get into deep state of meditation, you realize that I am just the pure energy. And that energy is nothing but Shiva. That is auspicious. And now he says, Tasmad akashadi karanatvad deshatah tavad anantam brahma. So because the Brahman is the cause of everything, starting from the space. So it is spatially, temporally, substantially endless. Akasho hi ananta iti prasiddham deshatah. Tasyedam karanam tasma siddham deshatah atmanah anantyam. So generally we understand that Akasha is the space, arrangement of all matter, and it is endless because Einstein himself has clearly stated endless universe. Because you cannot reach the point where the universe ends. Oh, I have traveled some 5 crore kilometer. It is actually very close. If you say 15 crore kilometer, the sun, and if you say I have traveled 1 crore light years and I have come to the end of the universe, this is the end edge, then somebody will ask you, what is on the other side? Beyond that, what is that? Space again. So space has no end. And Shankaracharya says that space is also stated as the product of this consciousness. Therefore, consciousness has no ending at all. Nahi asarvagata sarvagatam utpadyamanam loke kinchit drishyate. Because see, from a limited object, you cannot expect an unlimited thing to produce. That means it cannot be produced. The cause is limited, the product will be limited. But the unlimited cause can produce the limited one. Ataha niratishayam atmanaha anantyam deshatastadha कार्यत्वात् कालतः तद भिन्न वस्तु अंतराभावाच्च वस्तुतः. So now throughout these passages, Adi Shankaracharya has been explaining single word Satyam Jnanam Anantam. That single Anantam word he has been explaining, and he has stated very clearly that Anta means end, Ananta means endless, and being endless is possible in 3 ways: in time, in space, and in substance. And he says, one, the consciousness cannot have spatial limitation, spatial end, one, and because it is no product, it cannot have temporal end also, two, and because there is no other homogeneous or heterogeneous object, it cannot have substantial limitation also. Atayeva niratishaya satyatvam. Therefore, Brahman is Satya. What kind of Satya? Absolutely Satya. Niratishaya Satya. Nir Atishaya, that means above and beyond this particular Brahma reality, you cannot expect some more. That's the problem. But in modern science, we had seen Democritus and other scholars like Rutherford, they had in the beginning postulated some atoms. Rutherford worked on that, Dalton and others also worked on that, and they had understood the secrets of matter. And in the beginning, they thought it is atom, indivisible, undivided. But later, maybe 1895 or so, they have discovered the electron. Then in 1930 or so, proton, neutron. Then a different world was open to them, because the inner nature of an atom, which was supposed to be undivided, was broken into pieces again. That means the scientists were able to look into the nature of the atom, and they have found that atom is not undivided, it has some parts. Looked into that. Then they found some nucleus, and the nucleus, proton, neutron, surrounded by electron, the shells, various shells, and again in them they had found quarks, upside downside quarks, 3 all 6 quarks. And again they looked, they found quanta of Einstein, and again fields. And finally they said, we don't find anything than energy, and energy itself is a typical one because it manifests different characteristics. So in modern science we find that sometimes something was observed, but later something subtler was observed, and again subtler was observed. So there is no end. But Upanishad says Brahman has no end, but it is the end of all your quest. Because all our quest should end in Brahman. Niratishaya. Because beyond Brahman we don't and we can't find anything. Tasmat. In the mantra you find the word Tasmat. Etasmad Atmanah Akasha Sambhutaha. So we understand that the word Tasmat, that means from that. From what? Brahma Paramrishyate. It refers to Brahma. So from Brahman, Akasha is created. Etasmat iti mantra vakyena anantaram yatha lakshitam. So Tasmat etasmat. So from that Brahman, which is Satyam Jnanam Anantam, same. From this only, Akasha, everything is created. Yad Brahma Adau Brahmana Vakyena Sutritam Yacha Satyam Jnanavantam Brahmeti Anantarameva Lakshitam. So whatever was stated as Brahma Vidapnoti Param in the beginning and defined later as Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, Tasmadva Etasmat Atmanaha, and that Brahman is none other than the Atma. So Tasmat Etasmat Brahmanaha Atmanaha, Atma Shabda Vacha, because Brahman is very frequently referred to in the Upanishads as Atma. Atma hi tat sarvasya. Because the Brahman is soul of everything. In the Visishtadvaita, they very strongly advocate the theory that Brahman is the soul of individual soul also. That means all Jiva. So Jiva is also a Sharira of the Brahman, and Brahman is the Atma of Jiva, typical. Tat Satyam Sa Atma. So in this manner, Brahma is known as Atma. Tasmat Etasmat Brahmanaha. From this Brahman, Atma Swarupat, of the form of the Atman, Akasha Sambhutaha. So the space, etc., got manifest. Akasho Nama. What is Akasha? Space. What is that? Shabda Gunaha Avakashakaro Murta Dravyanam. This is generally the Nyaya point of view, that Akasha is nothing but the gap between two objects. And this actually contains all the Murta Dravya. Murta Dravya means all substances with forms, tangible. So we have all Prithvi, Apaha, Tejaha, Vayu, the four. And these four are there in the space only. So these are the Murta Dravya, though Vayu is not Murta, but Murta here limited. So in this manner, if the four are taken, so that which actually accommodates all these four is space, that is Akasha. Tasmat Akashat. From this Akashat, Svena Sparsha Gunena Purvena cha Karana Gunena Shabdena Dviguno Vayu Sambhuta iti Anuvartate. So when the Akasha was produced, Akasha had single characteristic, single quality. Shabda. Shabda is the peculiar quality of space, but not the space in the modern sense, because the space is there even without sound, we say, but space is everywhere. From that Akasha, whatever Vayu is produced, that means the gas is produced, it carried its own quality and the quality of its cause also. What is that? That is the Shabda Guna and own Sparsha Guna. That means sound and touch both have come into Vayu. Vayu means air. This is the kinetic energy. Vayoscha Svena Rupa Gunena Purvabhyancha Trigunaha Agni Sambhutaha. So from that gas, the fire, that means the energy is produced, and this friction energy is containing three, two of its cause and one own quality. What is that? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa. because fire has rupam as the main quality. Rupam means form. Agnesvena rasagunena purvaischatruphis chaturguna apasambhutaha. So from that fire, the water is produced. It is electricity. And this water contains four qualities, three of the previous causes and one own. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, and now Rasa. So three from previous substances and one Rasa own quality. So this way the apaha, they are produced. Adbhyaha svena gandhagunena purvais chaturbhyah panchaguna prithvi sambhuta. And from these water, the earth is produced. It possesses five qualities, four of the previous substances and one own, that is smell, odor, and four from the previous. Prithivya Oshadhayaha. And once the Prithvi is produced, containing all the five, it contains sound, touch, form, taste, and smell, all five. So from this earth, the various plants grow, herbs grow. They are Oshadhayaha, medicinal plants. Oshadibhyaha annam. So from these herbs only, we get food, whether it is rice, wheat, oat, anything. So whatever is vegetarian, so that is Oshadhi, and from this Oshadhi only we get food. Anna, annad reto rupena parinatat, purushaha, shiraf panyadi akritiman. So when male and female bodies, they consume the food in the form of herbal plants, all kind of herbs they take as food, and when it get digested, from that essence only the semen and the ovum is produced in the female body and the male body. So from that retas, that means from the sperm of the male body, purushaha jataha, so the body is created, and the body has a form like hands, legs, face, everything. So this is produced. Sava esha purushaha. So whoever is produced in the form of a purusha, anna rasamayaha, nothing but the product of the essence of anna. So he actually consumes that, and it gets digested in the stomach, being mixed with various digestive juices or acids like hydrochloric acid, everything. And when it totally churns, the essence is created, and that essence, along with the we know now that pancreas, so it produces insulin, and the liver, it turns the glucose into glycogen and glycogen into glucose. The storing of glucose the liver does, and when that essence like vitamins, proteins, starch, carbohydrates, salts, everything is taken from these eaten food only, along with the water, and that particular glucose is removed, and that is carried into blood. Then the blood that gets to first the heart, and when it gets purified and oxygenated, that blood through arteries reach each cell of the body. Then each cell gets the vigor, the energy to function. So this way, annarasamayaha. So whatever we call as the gross body, the psychological body, everything is nothing but a product of this annarasa. Purushakriti bhavitam hi sarvebhyo angebhyas tejas sambhutam reto bijam. And wherever you find a kind of form, then from all the limbs of body, tejaha sambhutam, then the strength or stamina, the energy is created. And from that reto bijam, so that retas, the semen, that means that which causes further multiplication of the cells, you can say, or further progeny. So this way, the retas continues the progeny. So therefore, retaha bijam. Tasmadyo jayate. So from that Retas, whoever is born, so he carries all the characteristics of the Retas. Now, if we give a thought to this particular idea, we can appreciate that when mother and father, that means male and female bodies, come together in the bisexual activity, in the asexual only one body is enough. But here we are all bisexual products. Therefore, when these come together, then the main essence of the male body, essence of the female body, they come together. That is ovum and sperm. They come together, and a particular time they come together and become, as it is stated in the Upanishads and Ayurveda. So it is Palala, Budbuda, Peshala. So all these are the stages of that. But according to the modern science, especially embryology, it is known as zygote. So that is the first monocell zygote. And that actually carries all the characteristics of grown body, but in a very seed form. Then one cell that multiplies. And this process is known as mitosis. And the multiplication of cell process continues. And like 2, 4, 6, 8, 12. So this way they grow. And while growing also, there is a limit, there is a very, very clear instruction as if that it grows in a proper direction. Chromosomes, they actually carry all this. DNA, we call it. And all this is modern science. But it is happening. Only we have understood the process and given names to that. But the process is same, continuing, as if ordained by some divine energy. And he says, that which is produced from that seed carries all the characteristics of seed only. It cannot be different. Sarva jatishu jayamananam janakakriti niyama darshana. In whatever species you take, whatever is produced in that particular species carries the peculiar characteristics of that particular species only. So this way it is genetic. Sarveshamupi antara rasavikaratve brahma vamshatve cha avisishte kasmat purushe eva grishyate. Now he says, tasmadva etasmad atmanaha akasha sambhutaha, you have said, prithivya annam, prithivya oshadhayaha oshadibhyo annam annat vai purushaha ayam anna rasamayaha, etc. you said. But when everything is produced from the Brahman, how do you take only this Purusha? Why not all the other species? Only human being? Now Shankaracharya explains, yeah, because pradhanyat, because importance has been given to the human species, therefore we have taken, but importance in the sense as a specimen only. Because we are human beings, naturally it is human centric. So therefore we take human being here, but it is only to start with the list. Kim punaf pradhanyam? Oh, if human being is important, what is that importance given to human being? Shankaracharya explains from the point of view of our sacred Vedic tradition, says karma jnanadhikaraha. Because a human being is entitled for various karma and jnana. This karma and jnana are specifically entitled for human being. Because for all the insects, birds, animals and other, we cannot have any karma ordained or jnana ordained. You cannot ask the cow or some animal to sit and study something and repeat. You cannot expect. Only the human beings can do. So this is the pradhanya. Human beings can listen to the instructions and they do the Vedic karma, everything, and they get the jnana also. Purushe evahi shaktatvad arthitvad aparidastatvatcha karma jnanayoha adhikriyate. So this way, human being alone is capable of doing all the karma, and he actually aspires for the result of karma, and he is never negated or removed from the purview of karma. So therefore, he alone is entitled for karma and jnana. Purushetveva आविस्तरम आविस्तराम आत्मा सहि प्रज्ञानेन संपन्नतमो विज्ञातं वदति विज्ञातं पश्यति वेद श्वस्तनं वेद लोकालोकौ मर्त्येन अमृतम् ईक्षति इत्येवं संपन्नः अथ इतरेषां पशूनाम् अशनाया पिपासेव अभिविज्ञानम् इत्यादि श्रुत्यंतर दर्शनात्. Shankaracharya explains the difference between human being and other species. He says human being alone has all these prajna, a kind of faculty or talent that he understands, looks at something, knows something, repeats and understands what is future, what can he do for the future, what can he spare for future. So all these, that means doing something, reserving something for future, or understanding future activities, all this is known to the human being. Loka loko martyena amrutam ikshati. And he can understand both this and the next word. That means known and unknown also. And therefore, he is entitled for this instruction. And itaresham pashuna, what about other species? They have only the natural basic instincts like hunger, thirst, sex, desire, and sleep, and sometimes fear. So these are common. But beyond that, we cannot expect some other thing in the other species. Though they have different talent, of course, they have super sensory in the sense of human beings. They have super sensory perception ability also. But when it comes to typical knowledge that the human being possesses, the other species naturally do fall short of it. So therefore, human being is taken in this mantra. Sahi Purusha iha vidyayantratamum brahma sankramayitum ishtaha. Now that Purusha, that human being, is intended here vidyaya antaratam brahma sankramayitum. That means through this particular vidya in this Upanishad, this particular human being or the soul or the individual soul as human being is intended to be taken to the Brahman. That means if one follows the process given here in the Taittiriya Upanishad, that person can properly reach the state of Brahman. That is through vidya. Tasya cha bhahyakara vishesheshu anatmasu atma bhavita buddhi analambya. For that, what he has to do, what he is supposed to do, that is whatever is external in the form of Shabda, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha. These are the five which are known as Vishaya because they bind us, they attract us, and they really pull us down to the lower consciousness level. If we get entangled in the matters of the world and in the attractions of the matter, then we will remain lifelong in the level of lower consciousness only. We cannot raise up ourselves. But the Upanishad always says, Uttishtata Jagrata, raise up yourself. And that is possible through meditation and proper understanding of these Upanishadic scriptures. So he says, when a person does not entangle himself in these external things and anatmasu atma bhavita buddhir analambya, and when he does not believe the non-self as the self, then vishesham kanchit sahasa antaratama pratyagatma vishaya niralambana cha kartum ashakya. So without doing all this, one cannot expect that kind of an independent realization within niralambana. And that prajna is very important because it is the realization of pratyagatma. That means the inner soul, innermost soul. That knowledge one can get. But for that, the condition is he has to withdraw from the external attractions and always be poised within himself. Drishta shariratma samanya kalpanaya shakha chandra nidarshana vat antah praveshayan aha. So for this process only, that means with an intention to take this individual soul to the state of supreme consciousness called Brahman, the Upanishad starts with etasya idam shiraha tasya idameva shiraha. So this is the sentence. Now shakha chandra nyaya, that means to point to the moon in the sky. Somebody says, see the moon that is on the branch there. Actually moon is not on the branch, but when you look at that, so that particular vision has that range. So therefore somebody sees the tree first, then the shakha, then understands the moon there. So it is only shakha chandrama, and it is not absolutely true in that sense. Tasya idameva shiraha. So only a kind of contrast. Tasya idameva shiraha. Tasya asya purushasya annarasamasya idameva shiraha. So that particular purusha, individual self, possessing a body, has this as head. Prasiddham pranamayadishu ashirasam shirastva darshanad ihapi tat prasango mabhut iti idameva shiraha ityuchyate. But here, when you are talking about pranamaya, annamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya, after this, then they don't have any shira. So now also you should understand that shiraha is not to be taken in the literal sense, but it is the limb in the body, but they also have shiraha with reference to those like pranamaya, manomaya, etc. So they're a different sense. So otherwise you cannot connect with the next pranamaya, manomaya, annamaya. Evam pakshadishu yojana. Similarly, you understand with all the other limbs also, like right wing, left wing, and the tail. All this is only rupaka. All this is only symbolic. They are referring to some other reality. Ayam dakshino bahuhu. This is the right shoulder. Purvabhimukhasya dakshinah pakshaha. When a person stands facing the sun, so the right is known as dakshina paksha. Ayam savyo bahu. Opposite to that, the left is savyaha. That is uttara paksha. Ayam madhyamo dehabhagaha atmangana. So whatever is between these two is madhyabhaga. Madhyam hesham anganam atma iti shrute. Idam. So when he is pointing to idam, it means nabhehe adastad yadangam tat puchham pratishtha. So below the navel, behind the body, there is an extension of the vertebrae. It is known as tail. And pratishtishthati anaya iti pratishtha. So whatever helps you get supported, that means whatever gives you full support, it is tail. Puchham eva puchham. So it is here, it is not tail, but whatever supports is the tail here. Adholambana samanyat yatha gohu puchham. So here also, this from the medulla oblongata, the vertebrae, from the cervical, it goes down. From thoracic, it goes down, and pelvic. So it continues. This is actually like the tail of a cow. And he says, see, this is the tail, idam puchham. Etat prakritya uttaresham pranamayadinam rupakatva siddhihi. So on the basis of this also, you understand all other limbs in secondary symbolic sense only. Mushanishikta drutatamra pratimavat. So just like when some metal is melted and put in a particular shape, then it naturally assumes the shape of that, because there is a shape and this molten metal is poured into that. Then naturally the metal will also take the shape of whatever shape is given to that. Similarly, tadapi esha shloko bhavati. In this manner, there is a famous traditional shloka also. Tat tasmin evarthe brahmano ukte annamayatma prakashaka esha shloko mantro bhavati. So this is the mantra in that particular sense. So in this manner, atha brahmananda valyam prathamonuvakaha. So the 13th one, that is the first anuvaka of brahmananda valli, ends here, and it now takes the teaching to the Brahman, starting with this Brahma vidapnoti param. So here we stop and meet in the next class. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.